Hello friends and enemies, and welcome to a Transformers review. Now this normally isn't my forte, I'm usually the one consuming the content, not creating it, but something really crazy happened to me today. I was at my local Walmart, checking to see if I could find any Siege Deluxe class figures, and behind a Shockwave on the bottom shelf, I found this. It is a War for Cybertron Siege Leader Class Optimus Prime. That's right. If you look online, Amazon and Big Bad Toy Stores say they won't even be shipping theirs until June or July. So it's absolutely crazy that I was able to find this when and where I did in the middle of Missouri in a Walmart. So I'm going to do my best to kind of walk through this figure, show some of the details, show how the transformation process works, compare with some of my other Optimus Primes, and hopefully we're going to have a good time. We're going to start off with a quick look at the packaging. I'm not able to set my tripod far enough away, so I'm just going to hold on to it. And we're going to get in manually. So it's your standard front, sort of. Just has your standard War for Cybertron Siege. It says Optimus Prime Galaxy Upgrade in several different languages, and that's a neat touch. Someone on Twitter mentioned it's very reminiscent of the old Cybertron Optimus Prime, who apparently had his description in several languages. Alright, we're going to move to the side. Your standard Siege product art. Well, there is an arc right there, but it's art as well. On the back, you've got your obligatory product shots. War for Cybertron Siege 40 Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime. You've got your upgraded mode, your standard robot mode, your cab mode, and your fire truck mode. Interestingly, they pair him with Shockwave as his opponent, which is interesting because you would think that Shockwave's wavemate, Ultra Magnus, would be, more featured. So it's interesting that they don't have a Decepticon leader for Wave 2 just yet. Alright, and on this side, we have some really cool art. I like this a whole lot. Standard front, standard bottom, authentic Transformers, good. Alright, and that is the packaging. Alright, and back to the figure itself, we have this fire truck very clearly based on Transformers Cybertron Optimus Prime. I'm just going to go from the front to the back, kind of go through details. We have this front bumper that's, of course, very reminiscent of Cybertron, along with the front shape. We have this gap here. I would like to get my hands on a Siege Ultra Magnus just to kind of compare one-on-one, but for now the main comparison that I'm going to do in a few minutes is with Cybertron Optimus Prime. I'm also going to take a look at Voyager class Siege Optimus Prime. You have your guns on top. This one, the tip actually detaches. It's on there pretty firmly, but if you can just pull it off, and this has 3mm ports. Pretty much any Siege figure can hold on to it. A neat touch that I found is that on top of the guns, these little handles actually slide back and forth, and that's really handy in robot mode for when you want Optimus to have a really good grip on it. And this is finished in this nice silver paint. All this nice detailing. There's some black paint as well right there. So these guns that are on the side, they can detach easily as well. And you get some detailing on there, but clearly you can see that there's wheels on the other side of here. These are actually fake wheels that you can only see in the combined super mode. And I think that's a little strange, but I'm going to talk about that a bit more later. Moving back here, we have this red panel that's really reminiscent of the Ultra Magnus mode, I think. And it's weird because there's a hinge right here. There's a pin that goes through, and it looks like you're able to unfold it, but the unfolding never comes into play anywhere in the actual transformation. So I don't know if that's just a remnant from the Ultra Magnus mode. I try to pull on this. No matter how hard I try to pull, it doesn't come unfolded, so I don't know what the purpose of that is. I'm guessing it's just a remnant from when this was an Ultra Magnus mold. Moving to the back, you got the legs. These are Optimus Prime's legs. It's got the silver. These will come into play in super mode. Along the top here, you can see his shoulder pads are actually hidden in here. They play a little trick. You know, in the original Cybertron Optimus, the actual windows would unfold and become his shoulder pads. But because we can't do that, we have these separate shoulder pads that are stored in the legs here, and those just kind of parts form on when we start the super mode. And up here you can see the back of the super mode head. This was something that also occurred in Ultra Magnus, but it's just a little more exposed now, just because of the way that this is shaped. Put this back on real quick. Again, just 3mm ports, pretty standard. So, does it roll as rolling things should? Not particularly. I don't know if I just have it mistransformed or something, but this is actually quite uneven. I can try to roll the front here, but the back doesn't roll. To get the back to roll, I have to almost make it to a wheelie. So there's something in here that's kind of bending it in more than it should be bent in. I'm not sure if I've mistransformed it. I don't know if this is an issue with the mold. I'm really interested to see what other people's molds look like and how this really behaves. There he is from the front. There he is from the right. You've seen the back. You've seen the top. Here's a look at the bottom. Pretty much everything is as you would expect it to look. You can see his cab wheels kind of hidden under here. That's pretty much the gist of vehicle mode. So now we're going to move on to a couple comparisons. Okay, our first comparison is going to be with the one and only Cybertron Optimus Prime. This is the OG, this is what it's based on, and I've had this toy for the last almost 15 years. This is one of my favorite Transformers of all time, just because he looks so cool. He's got the big wings. So let's take a quick look. Obviously, the Siege figure is a whole lot smaller, and it doesn't have the same gimmicks that this does. I don't have a Cyberplanet key, but there was all sorts of cool stuff tied in. You could activate the blasters. They do a pretty good job of capturing the basic shape. You know, obviously they had to take some liberties just because it's a remold, just because there's only so much that they could do. One big thing is that the cab on this Optimus Prime, on Cybertron Optimus Prime, has the 2 wheels, and this one only has 1. It just has that kind of conspicuous gap there. Honestly, I find this Optimus Prime to be a whole lot more fully featured, but that's just the fact that it was able to be developed as its own individual toy. I think that the priority in developing this Siege Leader Optimus Prime was to create a really great couple of robot modes. So I think this vehicle mode is passable compared to the original. Not as good as the original, but good nonetheless. I'll take this Optimus out, and I'm also going to compare this to Siege Voyager Optimus Prime. And these scale pretty closely together. Pretty similar colors. Voyager is a little brighter, but when it comes to the blues, I think that the Leader is actually a little brighter. We can just compare those side by side. The backs, of course. Alright. Okay, now we're going to start the transformation process. That starts by separating the cab from the trailer. So we're going to remove these weapons. Pull these out of the way. Alright. Now there's a clip here. There's a clip that comes from the trailer that attaches to sort of the spine of the cab. And we're just going to need to pull up on that to detach it. In addition, on the bottom, there's another clip that kind of clips into this cross peg where the legs meet. And we're just going to pull that apart if we can. Might need to be a little forceful. Actually, let's not be forceful, okay? Because I just realized that we have to pull these out. We pull the wings out. The legs come apart. Come on. there we go. Come on, Galaxy. Don't break the toy that you just paid $50 for and that you could scalp for $100 if this wasn't your grail. Okay, so here's the cab. The cab is freed. And the cab, it's a little bit weak. You can see the fists are right here. You know, the wheels are fine right here. This is your standard Optimus kind of deal. The front's, you know, just the same as it just was. And we'll bring in Voyager just for comparison. Close to the same size. You can see that Voyager Optimus has these colored in sort of legs in the front, the gray, whereas this doesn't. And that's, again, pretty typical of what you would expect from Siege Ultra Magnus. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and get ready to transform. Alright, transformation doesn't start off too bad, but it gets a little strange near the end, so let's go ahead and start. We're going to go ahead and separate the legs, and we're going to fold out these little heels here. I keep forgetting these, and then I wonder why he keeps falling over. It's important to put these back away when you're going into super mode, though. So we're going to ratchet these legs down. They're on a really strong ratchet, probably to accommodate said super mode. Bring this out a little bit. Gerwalk mode, gotta love it. So we're going to go ahead, and I don't think this is particularly the order they recommend, but this is what I've found works. I'm going to go ahead and loosen up the arms, and then this whole deal right here is just going to rotate. Alright. So we have the spine exposed right here, we have the front wheels right here, and we're just going to bring this up, and then we're going to push it back. This is hard to undo the first time, but we're going to have to revisit it when we go into super mode, so I can revisit it then. That'll snap really satisfyingly into place. Now, before you snap these arms back into place, you're going to want to pull this whole cab section forward. It's going to hinge up, like so, and you can reach in and pull out Optimus's head. And then that's going to go right back in. Now you can pull the arms forward, and these little tabs in here are going to tab into these holes, like so. Alright, and then just for the arms, you'll need to rotate the fists. Alright, and then we have our Siege Leader Optimus Prime in his normal robot mode. Alright, so here in the intermediate robot mode, we're going to go through and look at a few of the noteworthy details. Alright, so we've got this head sculpt that I think looks quite a bit angrier than Voyager Optimus, and I'm going to take a look at them in a second. We have all this really nice molding. Non-painted smokestacks, but I think that's okay just because they go through a lot of wear and tear with the super mode combination, as you'll see in a second. Really nice front sculpt, really close to Cybertron Optimus Prime. All this really nice molded detail that's kind of typical of the Siege figures. We have these little clips here, and the purpose of these is to clip onto the sort of wings when it's in trailer mode. Obviously we have the pegs that hold things together. The nice ankle tilt. In the back, we have more molding. Those nice knees. The backpack. And right here, we have the wheels. The wheels are black molded plastic that have that nice little touch of silver in the middle. This is really sort of chunky and utilitarian, especially even compared to Voyager Optimus. It's a pretty nice touch, honestly. And that's about the gist of it when it comes to detailing. You have a couple nice splashes of that battle damage. Though in this intermediate mode, it's pretty limited. And of course, you can outfit him with all manner of weapons. This silver gun, you can just put it in his fist. It's Siege, it's 3mm ports. Everyone knows how this works already. Yep, you can put his guns pretty much anywhere. You can put them on his shoulders. I actually tried this earlier, I kind of like it. You just get this cool shoulder-mounted cannon. All sorts of possibilities. So as for articulation, he isn't as articulated as Siege Voyager Optimus, and that's because of the super mode sort of allowances. He's articulated enough for what he is, I'd say. You've got your shoulder your second way, you've got your elbow one way, you've got your elbow the other way. So pretty articulated arms. You got your wrist swivel as well. Pretty articulated arms. You can do all sorts of cool stuff with that. On the legs, you've got this very highly ratcheted waist tilt. You've got this nice secondary waist movement, which I've actually found to be a little bit loose. Like when I have him in super mode, he'll just kind of do the splits. But you have your nice strong knee. Down here, you have your heel that can bend in and out. And then you've got one of the, I think, greatest features in recent Transformers, which is the waist swivel. Not waist swivel, ankle swivel. He does have a waist swivel, though. He can do a really silly twist all the way around. There he is. Alright, and while we're here in intermediate robot mode, I can bring in this guy for comparison. Siege Voyager Optimus Prime in robot mode. You can see that they stand shoulder to shoulder, almost exactly the same height, with Siege Voyager Optimus having just a slight edge. You can see again, colors on Voyager are a little bit brighter. I do like the very deep blue that's on Leader though. I'm going to compare them. Obviously, Leader has that big backpack, but luckily he has those big heels that can make up for it. There's the back, what you would expect. Other side, you can see that Voyager has these sort of leg guards that protect the wheels on the side, whereas Leader doesn't. Alright, we can bring them in and look at the head sculpts really quick. Leader doesn't have the light piping that Voyager does. Slightly different head shape, yellow eyes instead of blue, and honestly he looks a lot angrier, which I think is a good look because once he gets into super mode he looks really angry. So this is a good middle ground. So these are the two Optimus Primes. I think they look great together. Alright, now we can move on to the super mode transformation. Okay, we're going to move right along into the super mode combination. Right now we're going to set Optimus to the side, and we're going to bring in the trailer once again. And this is going to separate into several different pieces. So it's going to separate here. These legs are going to come off. This is going to break in half right down the middle. And we're going to pull out these shoulder portions. They just kind of slot right into place here. They don't really even have a peg that holds them in. You just put them in and they kind of hold themselves there. And it's interesting, but it works. So we're going to take these out, move these to the side. These legs have a little ankle sort of flange, I guess. This little ankle bit that kind of folds out and does a lot for stability once it's fully combined. Gonna do the same for the other side, just fold this out. And them is the legs. Next up, trailer. We're gonna just fan these wings out. And this part right here tabs into place really tightly right here. So you kind of have to be a little forceful with it. You won't break it, it's fine. Hopefully, there we go. And that's just going to loop around to the back. We're gonna bring these down. And this is just gonna snap into place in the back right here. And these two bits are gonna come up as well. Then up front, we're going to spin the head around. Gonna fold this section up and fold the chest out. So you have your wings, you have your cannons. These cannons we're just gonna bring kind of up and out of the way for now. All right, and this can go off to the side. Now we can begin prepping the main figure. So first, we're going to want to unfold these arms. Do the tricky thing where we unhinge the front here. There we go. Violent. Head's just going to go down. Snap this back into place. We'll put these back in for now, and this is the part where we push the whole front of the body forward. This transformation, as far as I can tell, also occurs in Siege Ultra Magnus. There we go. It just untabs, and this whole front sort of slides forward. And this slides down, and then the spine, I like calling it the spine because it's kind of gross, snaps right back into place. So this is where the parts forming begins. These little fisty bits right here, they're going to come off. And the ankles are going to fold up. Alright. Then these wheel bits, they have a hinge here. It's just going to unfold and attach to the wrists. This one, it's a little bit loose, so I have to be a little careful with it, but it still holds for the most part. Same on the other side. But now it's unstable because I folded the ankles in. It's going to pop right in here. And so you have your combined sort of fists here that you can almost pretend that they're little fist weapons or something. We're going to bring the legs back in. Legs are ready to go. It's going to pop right in here. With a good old snap. Same thing on the other side. This is pretty close to the Ultra Magnus transformation. All of it really is. That's what happens with a remold. Shoulder armor. It's just going to pop down right on here, where it's going to kind of attach right onto that smokestack. Now, let me get that a little better on the other side. Alright, one step left. So we bring in this whole thing here, this whole assembly, and it has this section that's going to kind of clip onto the spine. I really enjoy how much they're kind of utilizing the spine. So then the chest is going to fold down, and it has some places near the bottom where it'll kind of tab into place, just kind of friction hold itself into place. Almost done. You can pose these kind of cannons however you want. I'm going to bring them down just because it's the typical Optimus Prime pose. You're just going to go spin all the way around. Same thing on this side. Spin all the way around. And you can just position his hand to grab right on there. Perfect. And this is the one I sometimes have trouble with. Oh, there it went. If that happens, and just put it right back on. Cool. And you can see he's starting to try to do the splits here. So we're just going to fix them right back up. I'm going to put this back in. His little cannon. And then we're going to give him his guns back. And the best way I found to attach to them is just into these peg holes on the legs. Okay. And with that, we now have Leader Optimus Prime in his combined robot mode. Okay, let's take a look at some of the details in robot mode. We've got that really nice head sculpt, lots of yellow detailing, yellow eyes. Oh, he looks mad. We have the shoulder pad details that look just like the cab mode. These wings, we have the good molding. We have the fake wheels. These don't spin, you can't see them in vehicle mode. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'll discuss that more in a bit. We have the cannons. As I stated before, they have these nice sliding holes that Optimus can grab onto. We have the gun on the end here that can detach. We have those nice legs where you can see a bit more battle damage, especially down on the feet. You can also see battle damage in this chest piece here. Has that nice blue transparent plastic, very reminiscent of the original Optimus Prime Cybertron version. Around the back, we have this backpack that's a little messy, but that's okay. And again, we can see those kind of suspicious legs that I mentioned. Just nice detailing all around. We've got the silver, we've got the yellow. We have the nice fists that look just like Cybertron, complete with the rolling wheels. Just a very nicely detailed figure and a very nice homage to the original. Alright, and for comparison, we're just going to bring in Voyager Optimus yet again. You can see that with the Super Mode, Leader Class Optimus is a great deal taller. Same color scheme, just those added details. Pretty much what you would expect. We have the sides, the back, the other side, and the front again. Gonna take this guy out, and I'm gonna move you way back because next up we have the big boy. I might need to pick up my camera for this, yeah. So here he is next to the OG Cybertron Optimus Prime. And you can see just what a faithful homage this is. All the little details, the fists, the shoulders, wheels, all these little details are recreated really well. And I just actually noticed an error I made. There's one last transformation step that you have to do. My apologies for not noticing it earlier. This was in Ultra Magnus as well. This cod piece, slide it down, rotate it, stick it back up. It's not a huge difference, which is why I didn't notice it, but it does make those yellow details a little more pronounced, which is just another nice little touch. You can see Cybertron Optimus has these big old leg cannons that can spin out. These little black cannons are a clear homage. I think this is actually how they found out that the Ultra Magnus was going to get retooled as an Optimus Prime. Just because it had the option to attach cannons to the legs like this, they realized that the Ultra Magnus was going to be a pre-tool for Cybertron Optimus. That and some of the IDW art. So that's the big boy right there. Alright, one last thing before I start to wrap things up. This is what it looks like when you have the guns both pointed upward. I think it's a nice little touch. It's something that you could kind of do in Cybertron Optimus Prime, but in this version it's tucked in so tight that it just really feels natural, and I think it's a great way to pose the character. So as for my full wrap-up, I really like it. I think that it's crazy just the fact that this figure exists to begin with. You know, we had no idea that we were going to get anything like this You know, we figured some G1s, maybe some G2s, stuff like that, and there was the G2 Megatron. But to have a Unicron Trilogy mainline Leader Class figure in this major toy line is crazy. So I would say it's worth getting this just for that homage alone, especially if you're like me. You grew up in the early 2000s watching Transformers Armada through Unicron, through Cybertron rather. It was the Unicron Trilogy. I really love it, and you know, personally for me, I think it's crazy that I was able to find this figure to begin with. You know, in my little, you know, hometown, in my little Walmart, all of a sudden I find one of apparently the only 4 Leader Optimus Primes that have been found in the world. That's ridiculous. That's enough blabbering for me. If you love the Unicron Trilogy, if you like collecting Optimus Primes, this is absolutely a great figure. It's very solid, got all the fun play options that we've come to know and love from Siege. It's got wings. It's an Optimus Prime with wings. That's all you need to know. That's all I would have needed to know to absolutely love this figure. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I was kind of almost thrown into this scenario where I had to review this new Optimus Prime just because by chance it fell into my lap. But I've really enjoyed putting this video together. I can't promise that anything else I'm going to put out in the future is going to be this exclusive, but I really think I might make more videos in the future. I mean, you know, just for instance, I have a Universe Acid Storm that's going to be coming in next weekend. I know it's kind of old, but if people like this video, I might review that one too. I've really enjoyed getting back into the Transformers fandom just in the last year or so, and I'm really glad that I get the chance to put this together for you guys. So if you like this, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, even though my only videos are probably me when I was 14 doing a Minecraft Let's Play. You can hear me slurping on my retainer. So now that that visual's in your head, thank you for watching, and have a great night.